Hi everyone, this is Dave from Geekanoids. I've got a very special interview for you now. Jon Rettinger, president of Technobuffalo.com, has joined me to bring us right up to date with the latest happenings at Technobuffalo and also to talk about the latest in tech. Jon, how are you?
Hey Dave, I'm good. Happy to be here. How are you?
Yeah, fine, thank you. Fine. Very pleased that you could join us today for this interview. Absolutely loads of bits to ask you, so I hope I don't keep you too long.
No, not a problem. Ask away. Whatever you want to know.
Brilliant. Can you just start by letting my viewers know what the Technobuffalo site actually sort of serves up, what sort of content it serves up?
Absolutely. So Technobuffalo.com, if you haven't seen it, it's a tech website for tech enthusiasts. Sort of give you a one-stop resource for all of your tech lifestyle. We're not just sort of rehashing the facts about a product. We try and give it to you in a different way and show you how it's going to affect your life. And we'll also sort of show it in an immersive environment. So we're very video-centric. We've got a wide variety of writers and video producers to sort of show some of the most unique things about our products and sort of have some fun with it as well.
Brilliant. And I know that a lot of people have been talking about Technobuffalo for the past sort of month or so because you had some new members joining your team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let us know who they are.
Yeah, so we've really been trying to make Technobuffalo sort of the one resource for tech video. And I think we'll be able to bring on some of the biggest names in YouTube tech reviewing. Our new editor-at-large is Noah Kravitz. He's a name that most people who've ever watched phone videos online are very well familiar with. Mark Watson, better known as Soldier Knows Best, has sort of joined us to do a weekly tech recap show. We're continuing to grow and continue to bring in some of the best, new, and brightest tech video content in the world. So we're really excited to have some of these big guys and have them sort of start contributing.
Yeah.
One other thing about Technobuffalo, which is kind of neat, we want to give people exposure. You know, I started doing tech reviews just as a guy with a camera who's always loved technology. And there are a lot of people out there who have blogs and YouTube channels that do much better job than I or anybody on the Technobuffalo staff does, and we want to give them exposure. So we've got a submit an article button. People can submit their own article or video, and if it's particularly good, we'll post it on the site with a link back to their webpage.
Brilliant. And how long's Technobuffalo been going? Because it seems to be really ramping up in popularity lately. Has it taken like a long time to get there?
First, I appreciate that. Yeah, we've been live for just about a year and a half, but the traffic has really been ramping up since our relaunch, which we launched just before CES in early January. So we've been live on the new site for really just about 2.5, 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's a fantastic achievement in such a short period of time, isn't it?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Excellent. Now, for those of you watching this video, Jon is also really popular for his YouTube channel, Jon for Lakers. Serving up absolutely fantastic content on YouTube. 150,000 subscribers. You've got to be pleased with that sort of performance on the YouTube channel.
It's a staggering number. I'm still shocked on a daily basis how many people actually care what I have to say about tech. I remember the days of just sort of wandering around Best Buy or browsing Amazon, just looking at tech. Now I can't say how lucky and privileged I feel to get to do this for a living. To play with tech.
Yeah.
You know, for a career is probably one of the biggest blessings I could have ever asked for, and nothing that I ever take for granted.
Yeah, that's cool. And you recently went to CES as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we went to CES. It was insane. It's so much fun to go and meet people. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see you there next year.
I hope so.
To see all the fun stuff and just to be there and to cover the events that I used to just read about is just an absolute blast.
Yeah, fantastic. Was there any highlights there for you? Anything sort of stand out at the show?
You know, in my mind, tablets sort of stole the show, but I think Verizon really was one of the unsung heroes of CES. Their 4G network and their 4G phones were just absolutely unbelievable. I was using one of their 4G data cards on the floor, and I was getting like 16 megabits down and 9 megabits up. I mean, it was almost as fast as my home network connection. Totally unbelievable. The NVIDIA folks, I thought, totally nailed it too. Their Tegra 2 chipset didn't get a lot of fanfare, but it's going to, I think, define how we do mobile computing in 2011.
Yeah, that's cool. And there was obviously absolutely loads of these tablet devices announced at CES.
Everywhere you went, you couldn't go without tripping over a new Android device. But some of the coolest tablets that we saw, first was a Motorola Playbook. I'm sorry, the BlackBerry playbook rather.
Right.
I haven't been the biggest fan of BlackBerry in the past, but the playbook was awesome. The UI was super smooth. It was really responsive. The multitasking was awesome.
Yeah.
And the Motorola Zoom looked really cool. We couldn't get that much hands-on time with it, but Android 3.0 Honeycomb looks to finally tablet it up Android, so to speak.
Yeah, and do you think Apple needs to start taking notice of this now? Do you think they're really going to have to sort of keep their game up?
I think Apple's been taking note for a while. They're comparing these new tablets with the iPad. It's comparing it with a year-old technology, and a year in the consumer electronics world is a lifetime. So, Apple's products have, probably a year and a half, 2-year development cycle. So they're well at work already on iPad 2 and probably in the early stages of iPad 3. So Apple's response, I think, has already been sort of laid in stone, regardless of what the other companies were doing months and months ago.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned iPad 2, actually, because that leads next nicely onto the next question. The rumours that are doing the rounds on iPad 2 are obviously all over the internet.
Yeah, they're going crazy. What do you think about the rumors? What features are you most excited about?
I'm really looking forward to maybe them losing the home button. I think that's the sort of most exciting rumour for me.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, and just having multi-touch gestures on the device. The other things I think are more aesthetic, sort of more design changes, so they're not so exciting for myself. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with it. Do you think there's going to be any sort of big surprises there, or?
Yeah, I don't think anything's going to be a big surprise. The Verizon thing probably wouldn't be a big surprise. A high resolution screen probably wouldn't be a big surprise. Cameras, I think, are a no-brainer. Losing the home button could be kind of interesting. People are so sort of used to it.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe they might do just a capacitive button, maybe to sort of transition people over to getting away from it. Have you had a chance to play with the new developer preview of iOS with the new multi-touch gestures? Looks like I'm honking the camera, but pinching and zooming here. Look, I'm pinching the camera.
Yeah, you're making me feel like I want to touch my screen as well. So I
can see people screen capturing that with like me going like this. Make an animated GIF. Here you go.
I might trademark that.
Yeah, so we can. I'm sure we'll see that online.
No, but I haven't played with it myself. Have you played with the new 4.3?
Yeah, I got a chance to check it out. Not necessarily the most stable thing in the world, but it's kind of cool. I like to be able to sort of scroll through different open applications, made it feel much more like true multitasking and less like app switching.
Yeah, sure. And you obviously use an iPad yourself, but you test.
Absolutely. Obviously I use my iPad all the time. I'm a huge tablet fan. In general, the iPad, at least currently, happens to be my tablet of choice.
Right. Have you tested anything that comes close to it?
I haven't. I think that from a hardware standpoint, the Galaxy Tab is really exciting. But running a phone operating system, Android 2.2, just didn't make it feel ready. I'm very excited about the BlackBerry Playbook. And I think the Motorola Zoom and sort of the new wave of incoming Android 3.0 tablets is going to be absolutely outstanding.
Sure. Well, that's fantastic. Just moving on, Apple also recently launched the Mac App Store. As we all know, do you think they did a good job of that on the UI?
It's super cool to have. You realize all these applications you could get from the manufacturer's website, but being able to have them all sort of in one area is just another way to sort of give Apple money. And they're very good at making it nice and simple to do. I think it's a great idea. It makes getting applications much easier. I like the fact that it translates from computer to computer. So if you buy something on one and you upgrade your laptop or something happens, you still have access to those programs. You don't have to worry about trying to find a serial number, tied to your iTunes account. I think it looks really nice. It's a very novel concept. I think we'll start seeing it across different OSs and I guess really just Windows. I think we'll see some sort of unified store in the near future. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's good. I really personally think it's going to have a detrimental effect to developers. A lot of people, it's going to give a lot of people opportunity to earn money, but I think if you've got a developer that's supporting maybe a larger team of people, then I think that's going to be hard with the 30% cut that Apple's sort of taking from them.
It is tough, but it's certainly not the only way to distribute applications. It may be the most popular, but you can still host the application just as you did before. On your own website. You don't have to worry about paying 30%, I suppose.
Yeah, but don't you think that? I mean, I know they can host it on their own website, but don't you think that if it is a success and people are mainly downloading their apps in that way, they're going to feel sort of obliged to put their apps on there?
Absolutely, I think so. There's sort of an economy of scale thing going on with that. So let's say take an application that would sell either in retail or on a company's website for $30. And once you take out marketing and R&D, let's say they're making $25
Yeah,
per 30. They may only sell to 10, 20. I'm just making these numbers up. They may only sell to 10, 20 people, for a couple $100 profit or a couple $1,000 profit. Whereas in the App Store, they get access to many more people who wouldn't necessarily see their application.
yeah,
So they could make that margin up on bulk sales, and potentially be a real big benefit to developers.
yeah.
At least I hope.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, we'll have to see how it pans out over the next few months.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. Now, you mentioned CES, Verizon.
Yes.
Sort of stole the show for you. We all know iPhone 4 is coming to Verizon.
Finally, it's nice those rumors have been put to rest.
Yes, and how do you personally feel about it? Are you going to be switching?
I said all along that I would switch if it was LTE. I don't have much of a reason to go and switch, for a non-LTE device. Certainly, I'll get one to review and sort of check it out. I'm excited to have a CDMA iPhone. I think it's going to reduce traffic on AT&T's network, which is always going to be good. And it gives customers choice. Anytime companies compete, customers win. So I think that if you're in a great Verizon coverage area, it's fantastic. People get an opportunity to have the iPhone 4. And if you're a good AT&T area, at least you get the option to have AT&T. I will say, though, at CES, AT&T service was completely unusable.
Really?
We had to turn off 3G in order to send and receive text messages, even with 5 bars of service. So I know a lot of people just from that are very excited to get a Verizon CDMA iPhone.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think that sort of will be reversed next time round, though? So maybe at CES next year, people will be suffering with sort of iPhone data overload on the Verizon network.
You never know. Verizon's been very cavalier about saying their network can support the traffic. I think that if they back that up, that reputation that they'll be able to sustain will be absolutely tremendous. If they fail and they don't back it up, I think they're going to have a much quicker fall from grace than AT&T necessarily did.
And do you just one last thing on the sort of the
Sure.
iPhone Verizon sort of subject? Now that it's going to be available on Verizon, and prior to this we could only sort of buy Android-based handsets or other manufacturers, do you reckon they're going to take a big hit and we're going to see the iPhone being a big success all over again on Verizon? Or
Absolutely. You've got such a huge portion of people that were waiting and waiting and waiting for this. Not to mention a giant portion of people who are probably going to switch carriers. I think the iPhone is going to be a tremendous success on the CDMA carrier and have as much success as we've seen in the past with AT&T.
Yeah, sure. Now, I didn't intend to talk about this during this interview, but we did have some news come out just recently about Steve Jobs taking a medical leave of absence. Your views on that? Have you got anything you'd like to say on the subject?
I do. We wrote up that it had happened, and we speculated, who would take over if he were to step aside. Talking about somebody's health is not something that I am necessarily comfortable with.
Yeah.
It's such a tenuous thing. It's not like a moral thing. It's just something that's sort of out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So, the best I'll say, and whether it was Steve Jobs or Steve Ballmer, or any person on the street, just wish a speedy recovery, focus on health.
Yeah.
And, Apple as a company is not going anywhere regardless of what happens.
Sure. Couldn't have said it better myself. Excellent. Well, I won't keep you too much longer, but have you got any sort of favourite sort of gadgets or pieces of tech that you use sort of on a day-to-day basis? Not necessarily the iPhone 4 or the iPad, but anything that you sort of really like using?
Absolutely. And I do want to say that, Dave, I think you absolutely do a wonderful job with Geekanoids. I watch the stuff. I read about it. I think you do just a tremendous job, but I just want to say that I'm so happy to be here.
That's fantastic. You're making me blush.
Stuff that I carry in my pocket is an iPhone 4, but I'm looking forward to switching to the Atrix when it comes out on AT&T's upcoming LTE network. I think switching to Android will be quite nice. I'm actually really looking forward to it, especially having those 4G speeds. My iPad, I never go anywhere without. And I'm also a big fan of Windows Phone 7. I think people need to give it a shot. It's missing some key features, which supposedly will be coming in the early part of this year. But even if you don't like Windows, Windows isn't my operating system of choice.
Yeah.
But it's a really good mobile OS, Windows Phone 7. I think people owe it to themselves to at least check it out.
Yeah, yeah, cool. And what about spare time? What do you get up to in your spare time?
Man, I have had like zero spare time recently. Unfortunately, I used to always love to go for a run and go to the gym. I haven't had a chance to do it. Obviously, as my four Lakers name will say, I'm a big sports guy, so I've been watching the NFL playoffs here in the U.S. And just watching sports in general.
Yeah, never enough time to chill out though, is there?
Never, man. There is never enough time.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, John, for
Absolutely
taking
my pleasure.
the time
Thank
for
you
this.
for having me.
Yeah, I hope we can do it again sometime.
I hope so too.
Cheers. Thanks very much,
Bye-bye.
John. Bye-bye. Well, thanks to everyone for watching this video, and of course thanks to John for joining us. If you want to check out John's videos, please head on over to youtube.com/JohnForLakers, and of course to check out some fantastic tech-related content, head on over to Technobuffalo.com. Well, thanks very much for watching the Geekanoids channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. This video review is sponsored by EasyDraw, making drawing fun on Mac OS X.